Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So student, in the previous class, we had completed with the chapter of the management of natural resources, and now today we will going to start with a new chapter, and that is our environment. When we heard about the word environment, basically you see that environment include everything. Okay, that that is our atmosphere, the different types of gases, the natural resources, everything which is provided by the nature, it is included in our environment. And we use this term, this thing everywhere, means including the newspaper, by the people which is present around us. And you, when you heard about the environment, when you compare the environment, our elders, they basically talk about the environment of the earlier days. You have heard about from your grandparents about the environment which was earlier, where the environment was really very healthy, and the people, they are living in a very good environment, in a very healthy environment. Now what happened, the global summit, it will involve the developed country, it will also include the developing countries, and they basically discuss about the environmental issues a lot. In the chapter, in class 9th, in our natural resources, we have discussed about that of the biogeochemical cycle. This biogeochemical cycle basically involves the nitrogen cycle, then it will include the carbon cycle, it will include the oxygen cycle, as well as it will include the water cycle. And we have seen that how interaction occur from one component to the other component, which is basically the part of the environment. Now if we talk about the environment, it means which include both of the thing. It will include the biotic component also, as well as the abiotic component, that we call as the environment. Okay, so the interaction between these two, the transfer of the matter, the transfer of the energy from abiotic component to the biotic component, basically present in that of the biogeochemical cycle. And this is what this whole process basically occur in our environment. Now what will happen if suppose we will going to add the waste also to our environment? So for that, we, you know that it will going to degrade the quality of uh, the environment. And for that, let us perform an activity. So let us see an activity and try to find the answer of the questions. Now collect waste material from our homes, and these, it will include all the waste generated during the day, like kitchen waste is there, spoiled food, vegetable peels, used tea leaves, milk packets, and empty cartons. These all are the waste which generally occur in that of kitchen, so we can call it as a kitchen waste. Then waste paper is there, sometimes the empty medicines, then strips are there, bubble packs are there, old and torn clothes are there, and even the broken footwears are there. These are some of the waste which is generally present in our home. So there are kitchen waste and there are other waste also in our home. Now bury all these material in a pit in a school garden, or if there is no space available, we can collect the material in an old bucket, flower pot, and cover with at least 15 centimeter of soil. So now we have taken all these material, spoiled food, or the vegetable peel, or the tea leaves, or the milk packet, and even the cartons. We have taken the clothes, the waste paper, medicines, and the footwears, and we have buried all of them, covered it with that of a 15 centimeter of a soil. Now what we will do, we will going to keep this material moist, and after 15 days we will going to observe it uh, at interval. 15 days interval means after 15 days we have to check it again after 15 days we have to check it, means at interval we will going to check it, the material which we had buried there. Now what is the observation that we will going to find here, that what are the materials which will remain unchanged over a long period of a time here? So the material which do not changes here, which remain unchanged, and there are some of the material which changes their form and structure over a time. So of these we will find here that which one will going to change the fast and which one will going to change the slower. What we will going to find out here, students, so obviously if we talk about the spoiled food, vegetable peel, tea leaves, even the waste paper, these will what, empty cartons are there, these will what, it will going to convert itself into the compost. You know that this is what, this is a kind of a process in which we used to form the compost. In the compost process also we used to dig a pit and we used to dump all the material into it and cover it with that of the soil. Okay, and after a long period of a time, this materials will again get converted into the compost. Now afterward, if you look at the fastest one, so obviously the vegetable peels, the food, the spoiled food, the tea leaves, these are the things which is what, which will get easily converted into the, or which is the fastest one which get converted into that of the waste, converted into that of the compost, while the other will take time. But there are materials which remain unchanged, like medicine bottle or a strip, or that of the milk packets. So these are what, these are made up of plastic and or that of the glass. So that is why they will not going to get converted and they will remain unchanged. Okay, so such kind of a material we will say that they are what, they remain unchanged and they are non-biodegradable. So on the basis of that we have given the name to it, and that is, one is biodegradable and another one is what, that is non-biodegradable. So non-biodegradable will not going to change its structure, but the biodegradable will change its structure. Basically, who is responsible for that? So as we have seen in case of a life process, if we talk about a life process, we have seen that a human body consisting of enzymes, and these enzymes are needed as it will help in the breakdown of substances, and obviously after that we will get the energy. Similarly, if we talk about the food itself, there are certain bacteria which help in the process, in the converting the this will help in converting that of the substances, help in the breakdown of the substances. So some of the enzymes, some of the food materials which is involved in the waste material, that will be converted into the compost with the help of bacteria. But there are lot of human made materials are there, like plastics, which will not be broken down by the action of bacteria, or even with the help of a saprophyte. What is saprophyte? Basically we know that the saprophyte are those which used to sit on the dead and a decomposed dead and decaying matter, and it used to take its energy from there itself. Okay, so these materials, which is a human made material or a man-made material, it will be not broken down with the help of by the action of that of the bacteria. Okay, so these material, it will be with the help of the physical process, like by applying heat or by applying pressure, we can reduce its amount, but again by heating it again, it will going to release the poisonous gas. So these are what, these are this will contribute in creating a bad condition, degrade the quality of the environment if it will remain present for a longer period of a time. And such kind of substances we have categorized into biodegradable and non-biodegradable. As you can see here the definition itself, it is written as substances that are broken down by biological process are said to be biodegradable. So, a lot of a thing, food, vegetable peels, leaves, tea leaves, these all are what? Even the paper also, students. These all are what? These all are the substances which can be easily converted into the compost, and such kind of a substances in which the bacteria will broke it into the small pieces or convert it into compost. Such kind of substances are called as a biodegradable substances. Okay, there are substances which cannot be broken down, and such substances that are not broken down are called as a non-biodegradable. Okay, these substances may be inert and simply persist in the environment for a long time, or may harm the various member of the ecosystem. Okay, so substances, it may be inert means these are the substances on which the bacteria are not able to break it into the simpler pieces, not able to convert it into the compost, and such substances are called as a non-biodegradable. So we had classified the substances also into two types, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Now these substances will also a part of our ecosystem. So let us discuss about this. So, question is that why are substances are biodegradable and non-biodegradable? It is because the name itself explains a lot of a thing. Biodegrade, it means the substance which can be broken down with the help of a with the help of a biotic component. And who is responsible? Obviously decomposers or the saprophytic bacteria or saprophytes. They are responsible in converting it into compost. So, there are substances which can be broken down, there are substances which cannot be broken down, and on the basis of that we can say that substances are, some of them are biodegradable and some are non-biodegradable. Give any two ways in which biodegradable substances would affect the environment. Actually, there is no such a harm effect of that of a biodegradable substances, because it can be converted into compost, and again it will be used up in the form of a compost which help in increasing the fertility of the soil. It is not having any kind of a side effect or a harmful effect in our environment. Okay, so this is the way by which we can convert the biodegradable substances into compost and can be used again and again. Okay, now give any two ways in which the non-biodegradable substances would affect the environment. It is having a lot of a harmful effect. Like if we talk about a very easy example, so plastic or the fertilizers are the non-biodegradable. Now you see here, if we use the fertilizers in a continuous, then it will going to degrade the quality of the soil. Not only this, if we talk about the plastic, you know that the plastic can remain for million years, and when it will be not decomposed, it will be what? It will affect again our environment. So, non-biodegradable, it cannot be degraded, so it is having a harmful effect, while the biodegradable, it is not harmful for the environment. Now, let us move on and see the next topic, and that is ecosystem. Eco means what? Eco is actually, the term eco means environment. So, this environment system you can say. Actually, by this, if there is another term came, that is ecology. What is an ecology? This is that part of the science in which we discuss about the environment as well as the different components which are associated with that of the environment. Now the question is that what are the different systems, different components which is a part of our ecosystem. So everything which is included in our environment, which used to interact with each other, that is called as the ecosystem. So every organism, which is plant, which is animals, microorganism, human being, even our the physical surrounding, they used to interact with each other, and they are important as well as they are helping in maintaining the balance in nature. So see here, all the organisms such as plant, animals, microorganism and human being as well as physical surrounding interact with each other, maintain a balance in nature. They are called as the ecosystem. Even if we talk about the interacting organism in the area together, so the interacting organism, it will include the non-living constituent of the environment from that form that of the ecosystem. So we can say here that the most important thing, that is the ecosystem, consists of or comprises of living organism, biotic component, and the abiotic component, which comprises of a physical factor like temperature, rainfall, wind, soil and mineral. Now you see here, when we were started to understand that of a ecosystem, we have seen that all the organism like that of a plant, animal, microorganism, human being, these all are what? They are the important or the biotic, because these all are what? Living organism. So they are the biotic component of the ecosystem. While the physical surrounding, which will include the wind, temperature, rainfall, soil, air, minerals, water, these all are some of the non-biotic or abiotic components are there. These all are the non-living component. Now you can see how they are really very important. Now the interaction in between these two components is really important. You know that we are dependent on air, we are dependent on the soil indirectly, but we are dependent. We get all the mineral from the soil itself. We are dependent on the temperature. The kind of a temperature help in the survival of a living organism. Amount of rainfall, it is important for our survival. Soil and water, as it is also a very important factor for us. So we are dependent on all these things. Okay, so somehow there is an interaction between that of a living organism to that of the non-living organism, and this interaction constitute the ecosystem. Suppose if you visit a garden, what you will find? We will find different plants. These plants will include the grasses, trees, flower like that of a rose, jasmine, sunflower, and also it will include the animals like frog is there, insect is there, bird is there. Now all these living organism will interact with each other, and they will help in the growth, they will help in the reproduction, as well as in the activities which is performed by that of the abiotic component of. It will include the air, it will include the wind. So these all organisms, they interact with each other, and this will help in the growth, in the reproduction, and also even in the other activities of that of the which is affected by that of the abiotic component of the ecosystem. So garden is what? It is an ecosystem in which it will include the living organism, it will include the non-living organism, and they used to interact with each other. It will include the biotic and abiotic component which used to interact with each other. So this is what? This is one of the example of that of the ecosystem. So garden is what? It is an ecosystem. Similarly, there are lot of different types of a ecosystem are there. Like forest. How forest? In forest, there are lot of different types of trees are there. Then it will include the animals, and it will include that of the air, mountain, temperature. So these all what will affect their growth, will affect their reproduction. So this is what the forest is also an ecosystem. Pond, yes, the aquatic living organism. Aquatic plant is there, then aquatic animals are there, and the water is there, students. So they all are dependent on water. What will happen if suppose you will take out a fish from the water? It will not able to survive. Similarly, the plants which are able to, like the water hyacinth is there. You know that the water hyacinth is an aquatic plant, or a lotus is there, so that is an aquatic plant. So if you take it out and try to grow it in a terrestrial or in a soil outside to that of the water, it will be not able to survive. So how, why is it so? It is because we know that it can only survive in the water itself. Similarly, when you take out a fish, the fish is able to survive in the water because the fish is having gills and they are able to take oxygen from the water itself. So water or a pond or a lake is what? That is also a kind of an ecosystem. So this is how the ecosystem is basically divided. Okay. So these all are what? Basically they are the natural ecosystem. Sometimes what happen, like that of a garden is there or a crop field is there, which is basically created by the human being. And such kind of a ecosystem is called as a artificial ecosystem. So there are natural ecosystem and there are artificial ecosystem. Okay. Now in the same group we can include here another term, that is consumer, producer and decomposers. When we talk about the producers, so producers are what? These are the organisms which basically help in producing that of the food. And for that, you know that it is the plant who are able to make their own food. And these plants basically what? The green leaves in them help in the preparation of the food. And since they are able to prepare the food by the help of the process of photosynthesis, thus they are called as the producers. So all the green plants are there, students, as well as the blue green algae, which we also call as the cyanobacteria. This is able to perform the process of a photosynthesis, and since they are able to produce their food by the process of photosynthesis, we used to include it into that of the producers. Okay, so it is included into that of the producers where they are able to produce the food. Now the organism who are directly dependent, or who are directly or even who are indirectly dependent on that of the producers, they are what? They are actually taking the food and eating. It means that they are actually consuming the food which is produced by the producers, right? So they are called as a consumers. Okay, so one is producer which is producing, another is consumer which is consuming that of the food directly or indirectly. So now the consumers, directly or indirectly, means there are consumers which can take the plant directly, there are which used to take it indirectly. Like if we talk about the division of the consumers, so it will include the herbivore, carnivore and omnivore. Herbivore are those animals who used to eat plant and its product. They are called as herbivores. Carnivores are what? So there in case of a herbivore, we are taking the plant directly. So there we are dependent on the plant directly. While in case of a carnivore, you know that in the carnivore, the animals used to eat the other animals. Okay, they are called as carnivores. So in this case, it is called as a secondary consumer because it is not directly connected with the producers but indirectly. So that is what also a consumer, but it is a kind of a secondary consumer. Then there are some of the consumers, there are parasites, and parasites what? It will help in the decomposition of the dead plant and the animals. Okay, so this is how this chain goes on, where the producer, consumers, they used to uh, they used to constitute in the interaction between the biotic and abiotic components to this. Okay, so herbivore, carnivore and that of the omnivore, which help in the, which is we call as a primary consumer, secondary consumer, and then then it is the decomposer. In between there could be a tertiary consumer also, like that of eagle is there, or these are the what the kind of a consumer which used to take the secondary consumer. Okay, so this is how this whole chain goes on. This is how the producers and the consumers are divided. Okay, producers are basically the green plants.